G.I. Joe has always been my passion as a toy line, pretty much as a lifestyle. But there's always been a place in my heart for transforming robots as well. And since I just did a video about how the Cobra HISS is not a tank, and that set more than a couple people off, I figured, why not do a custom HISS and add it to my ever-growing collection of Cobra HISSes, where I take a Cobra HISS 3 and make a custom GoBots tank HISS. If you're new here, I want to thank you for swinging in, and maybe hit the subscribe button, give the video a like, and let's get into it. Okay, so what we're going to do for this video is we are going to use the leftover parts from this Walmart Retro Cobra HISS 3 that were left over from last week's video where I declassified the HasLab classified HISS, and I had to use 2 of the stickers off this sheet and the turret for updating that classified HasLab HISS into 1/18 scale. And we're going to take this vehicle, we're going to turn this HISS into Tank from the GoBots, also known as Machine Robo MR4 Battle Robo. So there's a few things that we need to look at on Tank in order to make our Cobra HISS a custom GoBots Tank HISS. If you get the joke, since the HISS is not a tank. And Tank's really not a tank either, but that's okay. So we need to look at the colors used on Tank, or Machine Robo 04, actually, whichever. We have to look at the armament used on Tank, and that's this dual barrel gun right here, which actually is the chin gun in vehicle mode. And then this 3-barrel main weapon, which kind of looks like the 16-inch main guns on an Iowa-class battleship from World War II. And just the visual language of Tank in order to make our custom GoBots Tank HISS really reflect this character, but you know, it's not going to look the same because Tank is very boxy and the HISS is very sleek, kind of like a doorstop. And that's okay, but that's how I want it. I know that I probably could have used a 2005 DTC or direct-to-consumer HISS because that's a little boxier. The DTC HISS definitely has more of a boxy-shaped hull, kind of like Tank does in vehicle mode. My original Tank doesn't have the chin guns, sorry. But one, I don't want to mess up one of my DTC HISSes because I really love this vehicle. And 2, I mean, the ass is wide open on this vehicle as it is. So even though the overall kind of boxy shape of the DTC more falls in line with the boxy shape of Tank from GoBots, I'm still gonna go with the HISS 3 hull style instead. Yeah. Looking at the different versions of Battle Robo from Machine Robo or Tank from GoBots, however you want to look at it, we have a colored canopy. Now on this Revenge of Cronos machine Robo, 5.5-inch battle Robo from Mega House, which you can find on Big Bad Toy Store right now. The canopy is orange, but on the original, the canopy is more of a fluorescent yellow. Both are translucent, but we have options between a translucent orange and a yellow. The main armament is the same no matter what, but on the Revenge of Cronos version, the guns are all independent. We're not necessarily going for that, but we are going for the 3-gun approach for the main armament for sure, because that is a big part of the visual language of what makes up tank as a GoBot, or battle Robo as a machine Robo, however you want to look at it. Obviously, it's a much lighter shade of blue than the HISS 3 is, so that's going to need to get addressed. We know that there's yellow, red, and chrome. In each version of tank, you have yellow, red, chrome. So that needs to be incorporated into the visual language of our custom. We know that the tracks on tank or battle Robo, I'm just going to say tank from now on because it's just easier. We know that the tracks on tank are chrome, so that's going to need to get addressed. There's swaths of yellow. There's definitely pops of red. So that stuff needs to get incorporated into the vehicle as well. So going off of that, we know that we need to paint this vehicle a lighter shade of blue. The hull itself, all the drive assembly parts, the tracks, the skirt armor, all that stuff needs to get painted. Probably going to have to paint this front part of the drive assembly because it's black, and when we look at tank, that's blue. So that's something we're going to have to address. And disassembling this is really easy. You just pull it apart. The barbell rollers, they just pop right out. Not a big deal. And then you have to remove the tow hitch. So that's already taken apart. We already have the hull separated as it is. I'm going to move this guy over here. Now, we need to look at how are we going to replicate this triple gun main armament to put in our HISS to make it more like tank. Okay, so for the armament solution, there you go. This is the triple gun main armament from a HISS 2. Now granted, there's a spot for a figure in this turret, and that's okay. You just gotta kind of wash this, clean it up, get in there real good with a toothbrush and some hot soapy water, because we're gonna have to paint that. And then for the chin guns, which, you know, he generally wears on his back in robot mode, or you can separate those and make them pistols. I also have side cannon chin guns from the HISS 2, and where the vehicle clips together. This is the beauty of this stuff. Well, gee, they just clip right in. That's all they do. They just pop right in. And there we have the chin guns for our custom GoBots tank HISS. These are going to have to be painted chrome. The main armament will have to be painted chrome, but that's not a problem. So I'm definitely going to prime it with this really awesome surface primer that I get from Hobby Lobby. I get really good results with this surface primer, so this is what we're going to use for priming the surface. And for painting, I just have Rust-Oleum bright, shiny finish chrome. Now this stuff is brilliantly bright. I love this paint for chroming. If I'm not going to use a chrome pen, but there's no way I'm going to use a pen on this whatsoever. So we're going to wash this really good with hot soapy water and a toothbrush. Then we're going to prime it, and then we're going to hit it with this Rust-Oleum metallic chrome, and then it's going to be good to go. We're also going to hit the tracks with the same chrome. So chrome the tracks, chrome the chin guns, chrome the main armament, and then we're going to prime the tow hitch. You can prime the body, but you don't necessarily have to because we're going from blue to blue. But that's a shooter preference thing. If you choose to do it, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you choose to not, that's okay as well. So we're definitely going to prime this. And then we're going to shoot the tow hitch. And we're going to shoot the body with this Krylon Fusion all-in-one gloss patriotic blue, because that is pretty damn close to Tank himself. And then we're going to start building a visual language of how we're going to turn a Cobra HISS into a GoBots Tank HISS. I'm also going to paint this whole front part of the drive assembly for the HISS the same blue, because again, when Tank's folded up, it's blue, not black, and I want to get the visual language as close as possible, but put some custom spins on it as well. So we're going to get a good base, and then we're going to build from there. Alright, I cleaned off my workspace a little bit. The next thing that we have to look at, after addressing the main armament, the color palettes, the visual language, and all that stuff to make a HISS into Tank from the GoBots, is we need to look at Tank's canopy. So we have the canopy that came with this HISS 3, but the problem with this one is that it is very, very smoky dark. It's a very dark, translucent smoke color, and if I hit this with the translucent orange, I don't think that's going to look that great. Now what I did have was the canopy from an extra Walmart Retro HISS 1, and that canopy is definitely lighter. If you can tell the difference, it's definitely lighter. Still a little smoky, but not as dark. So we're not going to use this one. We're going to ditch that. We're going to use this lighter canopy from the Walmart Retro HISS 1. So we're going to take this canopy and we're going to shoot it with this Tester's translucent metallic orange. And it'll still have a little smoky to it, but we're definitely going to get closer to that kind of orange from Tank's canopy with this versus the dark, smoky HISS 3 canopy. So then I got to shoot this sucker too, and then we'll move on. Okay, so we have our tracks shot in chrome. We have the front part, that cowl, painted in blue. I took some paint pens, because I'm a big fan of paint pens, and I put little accents throughout, and you'll see it in other areas as well. So there's some red pops, there's a couple of blue pops, because again, the color palette of Tank is chrome, blue, red, and some yellow. So this is done. Set this off to the side. The tow hitch, all painted up blue as well. The body of the vehicle is now that light Patriot blue. I put a couple of pops of color on the controls in the cockpit. Nothing crazy. I didn't want to go too nuts on the cockpit, but yeah, so that's all painted up and good to go. Here is the gunner's portion of the turret. And again, you can see a few pops of red and blue on the controls. And there's the main armament. That chrome came out fantastic. I decided to leave little pops of red on what I would assume are cooling vanes. And I left this red because this part ratchets under here. And even if I painted this chrome, it would strip off as I, work the elevation on the guns. So yeah, there it is. I really liked leaving those pops of red. I thought that worked out really well. And here's the chin guns. Nice and chromed. Again, this Rust-Oleum metallic chrome does phenomenal jobs on plastic. And I'm really happy with the way that turned out. You can see we're definitely getting closer to the color palette and visual language of MR04 or Tank from the GoBots. I like him better as Tank from the GoBots, but whatever. There he is. Here's our parts. Now, I'm not going to put the whole thing together yet. I'm going to move the main body aside and the armament because I'm going to sticker this before I connect the hull down onto the drivetrain assembly of this vehicle. So we got to put this back together right now.
A few minutes later.
Okay. And there we have it. We got the blue tow hitch on. All the tracks are chromed out. Barbell rollers are back on. And that's ready to go. I'm just going to set this aside. Now I'm going to work on stickering the actual hull of the vehicle. Because I want to put a couple of pops of yellow in it. I don't necessarily want to put any Cobra logos on it or anything like that. I might put a little Easter egg sticker on it. We'll see how that plays out, but I'm just going to put a couple of accent stickers on this, nothing crazy, and we will go from there. As with any custom that I approach, I always like to assume the stance of less is more. I don't like to make things too busy. I don't like to overdo them. Especially when we're looking at trying to make a custom G.I. Joe HISS that's Tank from the GoBots. There's not a lot going on with this guy. I'm not going to put Cobra logos on it. I'm not going to put the 788, the 813, any of that stuff on there. Again, I may put an Easter egg on it. I might not. Sometimes I do. But what we're really looking for are pops of yellow and red. Now, granted, the original has pops of orange on the torso, but a translucent yellow canopy, and the Machine Robo version from Mega House, the 5.5-inch version, has pops of yellow on the torso and a translucent orange canopy. So, yeah. Oh, which brings me to the canopy. I forgot to show this. Look at that bad boy. Yeah, try not to put too many fingerprints on it, but there it goes. That's what it looks like. Translucent orange. I think we nailed it. Yeah. Grab it like this. Yep. Pretty dang close. I like it. So that's really going to come together with the rest of the vehicle. I'm going to put it over here. But yeah, going through stickers, and again, I always have piles of stickers left over from TOYHAX. I'll put their link in the description too. We're just going to try to accent the hull of this vehicle to kind of feel like this, but again, it's not going to transform into robot mode. I know, I'm sorry, it's not. Maybe I'll get a comment like that so I can add it to my next inspirational quotes video.
Chad, how insensitive of you.
But this is kind of all we're aiming for. Nothing crazy. So, yeah, we'll just get into it. I have my little board for cutting stickers so I don't mess up my awesome SAS desk pad. Always have my handy dandy tweezers for customs. And then if need be, if I need to cut some stuff away, I got the scissors. Get out of the way. So we're just gonna do this in fast forward style. And there we go. I think that's pretty good. If you notice, I did do the Easter egg, so I put TNK for tank, and I did put the 788 on the other side because, you know, 70% solution, walk in the other 30%. But since I thought the TNK looked so good as a, you know, just a little wink and a nod to GoBots tank, I thought the 788 balanced out the other side. And then I got the pops of yellow, the pops of red. I kind of trimmed them down so they matched the angle of that cowl armor there. Put a little pop of red on the back on that tab. And then I just mirrored the other side. Put a couple of stickers, black, red, the yellow and black in the cockpit. And then that kind of carries over the visual language of what I put in the grill, so it differentiates from all the other HISSes. And then I put another one of those yellow and blacks right under the tow hitch on the back, and I think that's where I want to leave it. Now we're going to clean up this workspace, and then we're going to assemble this sucker. Alright, got our workspace all sanitized. Now we're just going to assemble the HISS like you normally would. It just kind of locks down in, right? So we take this tab and this tab, put them together like that. Snap it down like that. Boom. There you go. Then we're going to put our canopy on. Oh, that's a perfect fit. Look at that. See how it's coming together? Yeah. Flip her over. Chin guns. 1. 2. They just pop right in. Look at that. Bam. And there is our GoBots tank HISS. Now we just have to put the main gun together. Well, there it is. I have HISS driver, and I have Rip It, because I had a spare Retro HISS 1 and a spare Retro HISS 3. So we just gotta determine who's gonna look better where. Do we want the red guy in the turret or the blue guy in the turret? I don't know. Let's play with it and we'll go from there.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I like it like that. So anyway, there we go. That is my custom GoBots tank HISS. And that is based off the 1985 Tonka GoBots tank, or the 82 Poppy Machine Robo MR04, however you want to look at it. And again, there is our modern version of tank from Mega House. This is the Revenge of Cronos Machine Robo 5.5-inch Battle Robo. So yeah, there we go. Throw it up on the old turntable and we'll take a look at it. I think it came out pretty good. It's just a very simple custom, you know, nothing crazy, but I wanted to do it because I love Machine Robo. I love the GoBits, even though they're not Robits, they're cyborgs.
Now we know.
But I do love the GoBots. I've always loved Tank, Psykill, Leader 1, Crasher, Screwhead, a couple of others. I think they're phenomenal characters. I grew up with them. And yeah, I just really wanted to make a HISS that was an homage to Tank from the GoBots. So now I have a custom GoBots tank HISS, even though the HISS is not a tank. Never forget that. So there we have it. Custom GoBots tank HISS. Remember that HISS is not a tank. I promise this is going to be my last HISS related video for a little while. Kind of did 3 in a row there. So yeah, we're going to put that to bed for a little bit. I want to thank everybody for checking out this video. I'd like to thank all my subscribers and my channel members. If you're not subscribed, you know, just hit the button, maybe click the notification bell so you get alerted when I put out new content, which I put out a new video every Monday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern. And there's a live stream every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Again, to all my channel members, you're the real MVPs. And if you'd like to consider supporting the channel by becoming a member, links in the description below. So thank you very much, everybody. Leave a comment below. Let's talk some custom GoBits, not a tank, G.I. Joe, and have an awesome day.